Hello, warriors. Welcome to the You Movement. I am B. I've been freed from my bed. Hurrah! Which is just fabulous. Which brings me to my first point, and it's just a reminder that I'm going to shout out to you. If you're tired, sleep. Nap. Rest. All of those are like the supremo meditation of all forms, So it's only society and our programming that tells us that, if we're not busy and productive, that we're failing in some way. The fact is, if you're on an awakening path, sometimes the most productive thing you can do is sleep. Because on a cellular level, you're damn busy. You're damn busy. It's just the mind that is like, you're not doing enough. You're failing. Yeah, we talked all about that yesterday. So, if you're tired, sleep. And then sleep some more and sleep some more. And give your body every opportunity to sleep. And it doesn't matter if the dishes don't get done. They're still going to be there waiting for you in 2 days, in a week. Who cares? It doesn't matter if the laundry gets done. Obviously, if you have children to feed, make sure that those guys are fed. You are responsible for their lives. But if anybody else is there, they can feed themselves. They can figure it out. You need to take care of you. So sleep is a huge part of a Kundalini awakening, like massive. So now when I go into sleep cycles, I'm like, oh, here I am, just trapped in this bed, which is why I invested in some very nice linen. So even though I'm in a B&B, I have my own linens because I'm riding the cotton flannels and all snuggly cozy, Cotton, by the way, and linen, if you can afford it, is the best sheets to sleep in, vibrationally speaking. Everybody who wants to raise their vibes, you should be sleeping in linen. I find linen a little cold, so I get cotton, which is like second best. That's pure cotton, None of this like mixed blends. They even warned against that in the Bible. Don't be blending your fabrics all up. Why? There is a reason for that. The reason is because it alters the frequency. It's like playing multiple notes at the same time, so it creates like disharmony. So you want to have one vibrational frequency. So get yourself some really nice sheets. You deserve it, especially if you're having a Kundalini awakening. If you're in a hot country, get yourself some linen. That's 100% pure linen. Or if you're in a cold country like I am, get yourself some nice, fuzzy, warm, 100% cotton sheets. Number 2, if your body's not hungry, don't eat. Don't eat. If you're in I'm an exhausted and I can't even eat cycle, then make sure that you have hydration and don't eat, because your body can't do two things at once. When you're sleeping, you're not supposed to be eating, right? So if you're in a sleep cycle, it goes hand in hand that you may be in a not very hungry cycle. And eat when you're hungry, and when you're not hungry, don't eat. Listen to our bodies. We really need to listen to our bodies, not listen to any experts telling us that we need to eat 3 meals a day. That's just poppycock. What we need to do is listen to the body and eat when we're hungry. And listen to the cravings, if your body is craving root vegetables, give your body root vegetables. If your body is craving sugar, that's not your body you're listening to. That's candida. Okay? So I've done videos on candida overgrowth, and that's like organisms that have hijacked your little craving center of your mind. And every time you're having a craving for pop and chocolate bars and potato chips and pizza and cake, that's not you. That's not your body. That's the little guys. That's the little guys, the little organisms that are swimming around your bloodstream, that have escaped out of the stomach area through that leaky gut problem that you have going on, and swam up next to your brain, is just sitting there going, you want pizza. You want pizza. Do you know why? Because it wants pizza. It wants the sugar, the carbohydrate, it wants it. It wants it. Pizza's its favorite food. And then some like sugary drink to go along with it. It's like, oh, the colonies can grow. We can grow. Colonization. Yay. All the little like organisms, they hijacked your brain. Don't eat that shit. That's not your body talking. Your body, when it's talking, says things like, I'm really craving spinach. And you're like, oh, okay, spinach. Or, I'm really not craving food right now. I'm in a deep purge cycle. I need to sleep. I need to rest and digest, which means to like let it all like process through. And then when you like come out the other side, you'll be hungry. And so then you're like, oh, I'm hungry now. So then go eat that. And maybe you'll be hungry at that time for some, spiritual warrior smoothie. I do have a body playlist. And it's really important that you get mastery over your body. And I want to talk a little bit about the body today because a friend, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And a friend of mine who's really deep into the like tantric path recommended this book to me, and I was like, yes, I want to know about this. And interestingly enough, Tantra was explained to me thoroughly through another teacher today, which really put me back into my place when it came to understanding what Tantra actually is. Because I was of the disillusion that had everything to do with sex. And that's not what it is at all. It's a spiritual practice bringing us back into the body, into the physical world, Enlightenment, we're always trying to get into like, into outer space. And I had the most trippiest meditation. It was great. Where Tantra is really about getting ourselves grounded into the body, which you need if you're on a Kundalini. Grounding is way better than being away with the fairies. Because when you go away with the fairies and you're dancing in the astral plane, woo, doo, 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 it gets a little Twilight Zone out there. And that can be terrifying. I still will do that video for you one day, but not today. Today's video is not about the spiritual stuff. Today's video is about the body stuff. And what is amazing to me, I feel this real powerful sense of reassurance right now that I am exactly where I need to be on this spiritual awakening path, and the answers are coming to me. And it's amazing because some of these answers are about 4 years too late, because she recommended to me I read this book, okay? And I'm going to talk a little bit about this book. But this book is in part talking about how to activate your Kundalini. So it's a little too late for me because that sucker's blown, okay? We already had our Kundalini awakening. September 2021 was when I had my Kundalini. And yeah, it felt like a very sexual kind of thing. So it was a tantric experience, a physical experience, an orgasmic experience. And I had no idea what was happening. I had no idea. And I'm still piecing the puzzle pieces together 4 years later and getting more information, which would have been really handy back then. But that wasn't my path. My path was to fumble and trip and fall and go down a whole bunch of rabbit holes and do it the wrong way and fumble around in the dark and bang my head and skin my knee. And oops, I went the wrong direction, and ego running this way and trauma running that way and confusion in all ways. So I'm still piecing the puzzle pieces together when it comes to having a Kundalini awakening, even though I have a good few books and I've watched a plethora of experts on Kundalini. What I've discovered is that my soul, and this is probably the same for you guys, my soul just knew what to do a lot of times. I didn't seek the answers outside of myself because my soul already knew. At the very, very beginning of me starting my channel, which was incidentally a couple of months just before my Kundalini. So soul already knew. This chick's about to have a Kundalini. Let's get her doing YouTube. And she's going to think that is going to be dietary tips for people getting off of, trying to cure diabetes and lose weight. And we're not going to tell her what her channel's actually about. We're just going to start making her do videos, and each video is going to be as new to her as it is to everyone else. I learn through this process because I'm recording my awakening in real time. So my soul knew shit. My soul had way more information than my ego did. My ego was running around the world going, I'm going to be an actress. It's going to be so much fun. And oh my God, I met a twin flame. He's my love of my life. And this is what this is going to be. And I'm going to make a YouTube. And I'm going to be a viral sensation. Yeah, my ego has made a lot of assumptions over the years. And had I learned earlier on to sit down, shut up, to go sleep, maybe I wouldn't have made such a tit of myself. But it is what it is. I'm not embarrassed because I've made mistakes. That's how I learned. That's how you will learn, hopefully, by not making the same mistakes that I've made along my awakening path. And listening to soul has been kind of my primary mission. So I'm going to give just a little bit of history here. Okay, right? So my awakening had already long begun, long before my Kundalini and long before I knew what I was awakening, right? Even the twin flame person had come in and out of my contact, I think from about 2016. I could be wrong. We would meet and have a conversation, and it was strictly business, and there was... And I'm assuming now, in retrospect, that every time that we met, there was an exchange of energy and something got triggered, and that led to the next thing, which led to the next thing, which led to the next thing. Of course, I had no way of knowing it had anything to do with that person, that was a catalyst for my spiritual awakening. All I knew is my life was turning into a dumpster fire and completely and utterly collapsing. Why the hell would I associate it with this person that I'm having these weird connections with? So it wasn't until maybe the 5th or 6th time that I came in contact with this person that I had all of a sudden this heart activation, and I'm experiencing, a Kundalini awakening and soul recognition and all kinds of spiritual wackadoodle stuff happening. And I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening, but my soul did. And that's important to remember. So for everyone out there that's completely and utterly confused, maybe you've been triggered on a spiritual awakening through this catalyst kind of individual that comes in and has triggered you. And your life's all falling apart, and you're I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I had a Kundalini. Did I? Didn't I? Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. I think I'm awakening. I'm drawn to watch Bee's channel for whatever reason. I found her randomly. Spirit just guided me there. Let me offer some reassurance in this moment that your soul is guiding you exactly as your soul needs, and everything is going to line up for you divinely. So my soul, as I said, I'd already started this awakening. In 2019, I get this wake-up call that says, save yourself. And here I am. I'm fat, sick, depressed. And I'm how the hell am I going to do that? How the hell that was my prayer. Please, please, please help me heal. I can't do anything. I can't make money. I can't escape. I can't provide for my kid. I can't do anything as long as I'm in this trapped state. Please, God, help me heal. Please help me heal. And lo and behold, I had a really bad injury that was causing shooting pain down the left side of my leg. And it was an injury because, my ex was a hoarder and used to keep crap all over the place and would collect other people's crap. I think it was primarily to annoy the crap out of me. Literally, because the more stuff that was around, the more clutter, the more chaos, right? My brain couldn't handle the constant chaos. So chaos presented itself not only in conflict, but physical chaos in my physical environment. And he collected downhill skis for a child size that we didn't even have a child that size. And they fell over and landed on my foot in the garage and caused an injury in my foot. So, yeah, a wonderful example of everything happens for us. Everything happens for us. Had I not injured my foot, I wouldn't have gone to the physiotherapist begging for help, because every time I stepped down on my foot, it was like this sharp electrical pain, this like nerve pain that was going up. So the doctors was concerned that it was related to diabetes, which... I was like, overnight, I went into like full diabetes. You need to be on metformin. And I'm like, dear God, at this rate, I'm going to lose my foot. I don't want to lose my foot. I better do something about this. I better save myself. So I went to the physiotherapist. So thank God for that damn downhill ski that landed on my foot. I went to physiotherapist and they're like, listen, we're going to do a gait test. That's GAIT test, not a gait as like, no, but as a gait as in like, how do you walk? And so she had me walk up and down the hall a couple of times, and she's like, you walk wrong. And I'm like, well, I've been walking like this for 40 odd years. What seems to be the problem? And she's like, your feet are like completely splayed out like this. And I go, yeah, that's because I used to do figure skating and dance when I was young. So that was, ballet always had you like move like this. But the chain, the anatomy chain that goes up meant if my feet were splayed out, then my knees were splayed out, which means my hips were like too far open, which means my low back, where I was holding all that pain, like I couldn't walk up a flight of stairs as well, without assistance or being pushed up from behind. So all in my lower back was this gnarly mess because my feet were pointing in the wrong direction, in part. Also, in part, that's where we store a fuck ton of trauma, is in the trunk. We put all our junk in the trunk. And on top of that, I'd been so beaten down emotionally over 40 odd years of constant bullying from my mother and narcissistic abuse from my ex, that I was like kind of sunken in, I'd kind of sunken in, which we all do because of the damn phones. We all sunk in a little bit. And I had developed a buffalo hump on my back. Yeah, let that sink in. I was like mid-40s and I've got a buffalo hump. No woman wants to have a buffalo hump. So I kind of stopped taking photographs. I don't have a huge amount of photographs between 2015 and 2019 because there's this hump on my back, because in a way that was armoring me, that was protecting me, that was shielding me. That was like all of this area here, it was so like, sunken in from like, how much more of this can I take? I hate this world. This world is horrible. So it was like this nice little protector for all the betrayals, and all the like arrows I was getting in my back could land in my buffalo hump, and I could carry on, trudging on like a buffalo. So she's like, yeah, you've got serious work to do. And it was in and around this time, I read the book, The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. If you haven't read that book yet, you need to get on it. I also read the book When the Body Says No Okay, so that one by Gabor Mate, I recommended these books over and over and over and over and over again, and I'm going to keep doing it because they are life-changing. Because when you realize that your body is holding on to all these horrific experiences and you're maladaptive in your body and you're not in your body, you're doing all this spiritual practice of like, I'm going to meditate it all away. Oh, I feel fine. I'm out here in the like ethers and I'm so fine, which is what I would do. I would listen like to like really trippy meditations. That was one year doing this and another year doing that. And I was like, oh, what I wasn't doing. So that's very transcendental spiritual work. What I wasn't doing was anything body focused. I was not focused on the body. My poor body was just taking a beating. And I was completely ignoring it. But my soul said, save myself. And that meant fixing my body. It totally meant and utterly healing my body. So after I got the gait test and after I read The Body Keeps the Score, I knew I wasn't walking like a king, right? Or a queen. And Bessel van der Kolk talks in that body about how we need to, like, for energetically, if we're walking through the world like we're a broken person, then energetically that's what we're sending out. And so we're going to invite in more trauma. But if we fake it till we make it, so using my adult acting skills, which he talks about as a healing modality, is act it, you know? Act, pretend that you are on stage and you are in the role of a queen, a king, a princess, whatever you want to be, something empowered, and then you're going to cultivate more of that power within your body. So these little puzzle pieces went ding, 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 and then Soul said to me, aligned walking. You need to start doing aligned walking. So first it was like a little bit of a shuffle in posture. So think of mountain pose, and I've done a lot of videos on aligned walking. If you have not watched those, you need to watch them. You need to watch them because I quickly knew, you know, it's ridiculous to go to a chiropractor or a healer and get an adjustment or like and then you walk out the door and you're doing the exact same thing. So if you are getting a 40-minute treatment and then you spend the next 7 days, 14 days, or however many days, all hours of the day going right back into the position that made you sick in this first place, then the chiropractic care is going to do nothing. It's bupkis. You're paying for garbage, right? You're not paying to actually get yourself help because what you actually have to do is remain in that adjusted posture. So I set out on a mission to get my body, before I understood what the implications of this were, I was just trying to heal my body because I couldn't walk because of the pain from the downhill ski. But my soul was like, geez, this one's so dumb, we're going to have to drop a ski on her before she's going to start walking properly, right? So get yourself into mountain pose, feet forward, knees forward, hips forward. Your feet hip distance apart, sucking up all those abdomen muscles, you know, those abdominals, like a Pilates move, zip them on in, re-engage that. No more Spanx. I stopped wearing all those things and I was like, no, I need to mentally focus on my own abdomen to put everything back into place because it was all like this, right? All those tight clothes were like hiding my, I don't even know what you call it. People come up with cute little names. It wasn't so cute. That little sucker was huge. It was not cute, okay? So I started sucking that back in and getting my chest up, okay? Chest up, solar plexus open, heart open, leading from the heart, shoulders back, shoulder blades down and in, head up, which is hard for an autistic person because I didn't like looking at anybody in the eye. So I would wear sunglasses and then I didn't even have to look at people. Head up, feeling like there was a string pulling me up. I'm like, okay, I need to stretch this. Now, I realized after the fact that the spine is the super highway to the divine. I see, you get the reasons why after. And I'm getting to more reasons why. I'm getting, like, I didn't know that. But the more I worked at stretching out my spine, the more I was preparing my body for the Kundalini that it needed to have. So for 2 years, I'm stretching my spine, and then divine time comes along, and in walks the twin, and all these feelings start happening, tingly, tingly, tingly. And on top of that, okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about Tantra from the perspective of sexuality. The body, when the body says no, was an excellent teacher to me, because my body knew I was in a bad marriage. My mind did not. My mind was really messed up, like very messed up. But my body was like, no. My body wasn't saying no. It was screaming no. It was like revolted. Okay, my body was revolted. But of course, in my ego, I'm overriding the impulses of my body, and I'm saying it must be me, it must be hormones, it must be I'm a woman of a certain age. At least that's what doctors kept telling me. My body, never once did it pop into my level of consciousness that the reason why my body was saying no to any sexual contact with my husband was because my body was like, this is danger. Danger, 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 no, repulsion. So my nervous system became repulsed because it knew energetically that this was not safe. And so I was like, well, maybe if I find the right strain of cannabis, I can get turned on again, So my body also had shut down sexually. And celibacy is a huge part of a Kundalini awakening, like a massive part of a Kundalini awakening. And it wasn't by choice. It wasn't like, I want to have a Kundalini awakening. I am not going to engage anything sexual at all. I'm going to this. No. So all that energy was being stored for the ultimate, and Kundalini reminds me a little bit of when people go to the fair and they have that thing with the hammer and it goes bang and it goes bing up to the top, right? So that's kind of like a Kundalini, because if you don't have enough energy, enough strength reserved, because you're engaging in a lot of sexual activity and you're spilling the energy, literally. Spill it all out. If you don't have enough energy stored in the sacrum, in the root chakra, that when it comes time for what should be your Kundalini, there isn't enough energy stored. And so it's like the guy that hits it and it goes, bing, bing, it doesn't go all the way up, right? But again, my soul knew what was going on long before I did. I was not knowing what was happening. All I knew is I've got pains down my left side of my leg. My body is not in the mood. It was dead. I was like, I don't know. It's gone into an ice age down there. There's just no more joy down in the nether regions. It was in a deep freeze. And so I was like, oh, well, I guess this is my life now. I don't know what happened. It just is. Doctors are telling me I'm a woman of a certain age. Must be hormones. Maybe it's perimenopause, because they throw that label on everything. It's like ketchup. They just throw that label everywhere. You're having this symptom, that symptoms, must be perimenopause. It was not perimenopause. It was my body recognizing that I was in a dangerous situation. It was my soul recognizing we need to reserve and conserve all of this sexual energy and hold on to it, so that when it comes time for that moment that the key is released, the contact is made, that bing, you have a full Kundalini. So I had a full Kundalini. And it was orgasmic. It was ecstasy. It was pure bliss. And obviously I was like, I don't know what's happening. Is this it's alive? kind of what it was like. It's like, I don't know what's happening. And so that just intensified my feelings towards this person that had like triggered this release. Like he wasn't in the room. Like, you have to understand, we saw each other, and then the next day we were texting each other, and I was doing art, which was to me like deeply meditative. And I was thinking of him, and I was all like excited, and it was just like, wah! You know, like right through the crown and out, like just. So yeah, that was really intense. And then about an hour later, I'm bawling, crying. Like it released. It's like, right now the purge has begun. Like within an hour, I was like bawling my eyes, like crying. And like, I was not a big crier. Like I would cry like in the movie The Titanic or something like that, or The Notebook. But like, I was not like a well-accustomed daily crier. And then that opened the gateways to start releasing everything that was trapped in my sacral. But of course, I still had no idea what was happening. So my body was demanding of me to get my posture straight so that this Kundalini could happen, to get my abdominal muscles back up where they needed to be, to practice bandhas that I didn't even know existed. Okay, so yogic techniques that I had no idea even existed. My experience with yoga was to go to a couple of yoga classes, and they would always hurt me because I was overweight, I was out of shape, and I was a woman of a certain age. So I was very nervous about yoga classes until I discovered yin yoga, and that's the only yoga I ever recommend to anyone who's over the age of 22, is yin yoga, because it's on the ground. You can't hurt yourself. You can't force yourself to go into positions that are too difficult, and it's all feminine, restorative. So I'm doing my aligned walking, I'm doing my yin yoga, and Kundalini is doing its own thing. And I'm along for the ride at this stage. Even though, my ego's running this way and running that way and trying to make sense of it all and trying to figure it out. Like, I would have needed probably 20 years worth of more intense preparation for a Kundalini than I got. But this is the thing, is a lot of us, especially those that resonate with me, didn't have that kind of preparatory training. I knew about the chakra system because I was a Reiki master and had my own business, and I'd been doing meditations, and, I knew a lot of things in the spiritual realm. I knew a lot of the teachings of Buddhism. I knew a lot of teachings of but Kundalini? No. I did not know a lot about Kundalini. I did not know a lot about yoga. And I did not know a lot about ascension or awakening or anything like that, because I wasn't seeking these things out. I was in awe of them when I read about it. I was like, oh, that's cool. But I wasn't seeking it in any way, shape, or form, but it was seeking me. And so along this path, we fumble through the dark, soul-led, more times than not. So even though our minds may be like, I have no idea what's happening, I have no idea where I'm going, I'm so confused, and you will be very confused. Your mind is figuring, your soul is figuring things out for you and putting things all orchestrated so that you know what you need to know when you need to know it. So I didn't need to have the 20 years of yoga. I was just stumbling across this information down the path of going like, oh my God, I've unlocked sacred knowledge about pilgrimage and why it's so important and why you should be out walking every day, about your spine and why it's so important and how it's the gateway to opening the pathways to the divine, and bandhas. So another bandha, which means lock, okay? So it's like a yogic lock, a micro lock that you do. Another bandha that I was doing without even realizing that I was doing it, because I'd never studied it, was because I had this severe pain in my mouth, this fistula, and every time I breathed or spoke, it would get aggravated. So I discovered just randomly that if I kept the tongue on the top of my mouth, it would block the airflow, which is a bandha. It's a lock. So curling your tongue back and putting your tongue just on that soft ridge on your palate right behind your teeth. I've been doing that for the last 4 years intuitively. I didn't know I was supposed to be doing it, but doing it intuitively. And so this book came into my consciousness because I was talking to a friend that is on this awakening path, and she is heavily into yoga, and she's like, if you're really wanting to strengthen your root chakra, because I'm like, I don't feel grounded half the time. Like, the fear that I've had to process through on my awakening has been terrible, like absolutely terrible. And so this began me opening myself to the understanding that, like, this whole ascension path is actually a descension path. I need to put my attention down, not my attention up, but my attention down into the ground, into the earth. And where am I grounded and where is my earth core is the root chakra. So she recommended I get this book. So the Mula Bandha, it can be spelled differently. So the Muladhara chakra is located right at the perineum, at the base of your spine. And that is out of balance when you don't feel a sense of grounding. So I was adopted, didn't feel that my connection to tribe was cut. It was like upplanting a plant, shaking out all the dirt and then shoving it into a new pot. And so there was like growth problems there. It didn't grow and develop as it naturally should. And then in this new pot, I was deprived of like really important nutrients that one needs to get grounded and feel safe and secure in the world. So when my Kundalini happened spontaneously, I was not prepared. And all the gurus out there in the world are like, don't start your Kundalini unless you're grounded, unless you've done the prep work. Well, anyone that's on a twin flame journey has not done the prep work, okay? Or at least very few have done all the prep work. And so the root chakra is not going to be strong and stable and secure, which is going to cause a whole lot of unpleasant symptoms that you will experience on your awakening. And I went through hell and back more times than I can count, with many rounds of spiritual crisis and spiritual emergency. I do have a spiritual emergency video, a couple of them, in the Dark Night of the Soul playlist. Please, if you haven't already, go watch the Dark Night of the Soul playlist, because there's useful info in there. And as I've been fumbling along my Kundalini, Spirit has removed me from all situations and placed me into isolation. And so celibacy has been a huge part of my journey for the last, well, really, because I was kind of celibate before I was divorced. So for a very long time. And that serves a purpose because, as I said, it's storing and using that sexual energy. It's, to me, it's like, I want to give it to Kundalini. Like, if that's your, like, Scooby snacks, then you eat that Scooby snacks and clear me out as fast as possible. Let's get the show on the road, because this has been 4 years of torture and I don't want to delay it. Okay? If me taking away your Scooby snacks is going to slow this process down, hell to the no. You can have all the Scooby snacks that you want. So I've been reserving my sexual energy for Kundalini. So to allow Kundalini the energy that it needs to move through my entire chakra system, purging out and clearing myself of all these like traumas. Oh my God, the traumas, the grief, the fears, the emotions. But I'm at a place now where I'm in this reintegration phase, and I'm being moved to go back out into the world, and that feels scary to me. So I'm like, I need to learn how to ground this. I need to learn how to ground this. And so I've been reading this book, and I'm going to highly recommend it. But I'm going to recommend that before you read this book, you get your spine into good health, and you get out walking, and you get your body doing what your body needs to do. And then perhaps, this can be a starting place, and go slow. But this can be a starting place, and I am going to recommend this book. So it's called the Mula Bandha, The Master Key, and it's by Swami Buddhananda. Okay? This is I'm as new at this as you guys are. We can do it together. Well, not literally, but we can work on this together, and we can talk about it perhaps in the Spiritual Warrior Support Group if you're going through it, as a safe place to discuss some of the stuff that's coming up. And in it, okay, so in this book, there is a chapter called Kundalini Awakening. And I'm reading this, and I want to share with you something that it says, okay? It says, the scriptures indicate that in order for Kundalini to achieve its final upward movement to Sahara, it must first pierce through 3 major granthis, or psychic knots. These are Brahma Granthi, Vishnu Granthi, Rudra Granthi, situated in Muladhara, Anahata, and Anja chakras respectively. Each Granthi represents a particular state of consciousness or attachment which acts as an obstacle on the path to higher awareness. Okay, so we've got 3 blockages, 3 main blockages. And I'm reading this and I'm going, what? So number 1, Brahma Granthi, situated in the Muladhara chakra, symbolizes attachment to possessions, body, material objects, etc. And it's like a million bells are going off, because this has been the last 4 years of my life, has been obtaining mastery over my body, releasing and letting go of all my material objects, my house, and I don't even know how much of my stuff. I sold all my furniture, and I'm living out of boxes in a B&B right now, letting it go, objects, etc. And then it goes on to say, it's associated with feelings of lethargy and ignorance, and manifests as severe limitations in the ability to act. Okay, so this is where I'm being pushed now, is spirit without my knowledge, so without my understanding, was you need to get mastery over your body, and you need to get mastery over your environment. And I was like, check. And then when you have those, you'll have mastery over how to move in the world outside of you. Check. Okay, this is strange. I've literally just been given a car to move around in the world outside of me. Number 2, Vishnu Granthi, situated in the Anahata chakra, symbolizes attachment to people, including relatives and friends. Check. I don't have people. I am alone with my cat. On my awakening journey, I lost my family. I wouldn't say that I have active connection with my family. There are family members that are alive out there in the world, but I have no contact with them. Friends, one after another, I've lost resonance with friends groups, en masse, a mass exodus. They might as well have been playing Bob Marley as people walked out of my life, It was a mass exodus. So I'm clearing these things without even realizing I'm clearing these things. And even yesterday's video, I was talking about my people addiction, you know, like that was ultimately at the root of all my like crappy behavior. At the root of it was like an attachment, a deep attachment to people. And now I'm like, oh, that's all right. It's good. I'm good. I'll just plug into me. I'd taken my little plug, looking for a socket for 48 years to plug into, or more to the point, I suppose, I'm walking around with the socket because I'm the female, looking for a male to like plug in me. And now I'm like, oh, wait a second. I'm going to just plug in me. I'm going to plug in me. I'm going to be a full circuit. I'm going to like plug my feminine into my own masculine and power up. That's what I'm going to do. Because in number 3, it says Rudra Granthi, situated in the Anja chakra, symbolizes attachment to psychic visions, powers, and satis. Okay, on my awakening, I've had some pretty out there experiences. I would say I don't get a check here yet. I'm still figuring this out because, you know, I didn't get... Again, I wasn't prepped. I wasn't prepared in my awakening for what lay ahead because I didn't get an invitation to go to the Hogwarts School of Witches and Wizardry. Mine was lost in the mail. So I've had to fumble along in the dark and figure things out, which can be really, really, really scary. Like really, really scary. So this attachment to psychic visions, I got scared so severely because of like the visions that I was experiencing. More to the point, the things that I was hearing. I went through a stage, I guess we're getting into this. 2.5 years ago, after the confession that blew up my brain, I started, Kundalini was going crazy. Like my head was like this. I was like, oh, like the Kriyas, I didn't even have the word Kriyas or involuntary movements. The Kriyas were making me look like one of those dolls on the top of somebody's car, you know, like, my head's going all over the place. I'm hypersensitive to all energies, lights, everything. I'm wearing like the Wi-Fi protections. I'm doing everything in my power because I don't know what was happening to me. And while all of this was happening to me, I was still smoking cannabis at the time. And I used to smoke like a blend between CBD and THC that didn't make me like high. Like I wasn't like, but it was making me open. It was making me really, really open to spiritual stuff. And when I started hearing things that were the scariest shit ever, and I'm not going to go fully into it, but I was hearing shit, and it scared the crap out of me. It scared me sober, is what it did. It scared me sober, and I, in a moment, was like, I don't know what's happening here, but I need to be stone cold sober and observe and watch and watch and watch. And I have, since that point, been very adamant in telling people, if you have had a Kundalini awakening and you are still consuming plant medicines, you put yourself in harm's way to experience stuff you don't want to experience. It opens you. It opens the portal. So it's like opening you in a spiritual way, wide open, like leaving your front door open and then wondering why you have bats and moths and insects flying around your house. If you leave the door wide open, that's what's going to happen. So I was like, no, we're closing this up. So we are closing this up and we're going to be like this. Now, I've since had many spiritual experiences since, and those ones were almost equally as scary, but it was a lot less scary knowing that there was no way, shape, or form that there was any possibility that this was a drug-induced anything, right? Like, I left myself open to the possibility that this could have been exacerbated or brought on because of the cannabis usage. So I was willing to give that as a possibility. I wasn't not making any decisions about anything about what happened to me. I was like, this could be real, and this could be really what's happening. If that's the case, I'm scared out of my fucking mind. This could be a spiritual happenstance, and this could be spiritual warfare, and this could be the influence of negative or dark energies that have managed to infiltrate my channel and are saying things I don't want to hear. Or this could be a drug-induced mild psychosis. But a psychosis normally is you believe it, right? So I wasn't believing anything. There was no belief. I'm like, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this, but I'm going to be so sober so that this isn't even an option. It's not even a possibility. I even went as far as to order myself a testing kit so that I could test the cannabis that I had consumed to see if there was any if it was a bad batch. It came back negative. But from that moment on, I was like, right, this spiritual stuff that's happening needs to be contained in a safe container. And so it is a warning. This last one I take as a warning for people that are like messing around in spiritual, like the gifts with stuff that you may not fully understand yet. So before you start messing around with the higher up stuff, you need to ground yourself. Ground. So if you are struggling, there is a grounding playlist as well. So if you are struggling in any way, shape, or form with grounding your energy, I'm going to invite you to join me on my latest mission, although I have a couple missions happening at the same time. But my latest mission to ground ourselves and clear and purify this Brahma Granthi, right? So we want to focus all of our attention on the body and clearing our attachments to non-toxic or toxic stuff outside of us in our physical surroundings, whether that be people, places, or things, and clearing that. And that's where our focus needs to be. And if you want to read this book to learn about this technique, I'm recommending it, is what I am. Now, I'm just a beginner at it as well. So I'm going to see what kind of change comes about if I'm practicing this every single day for the next little while. So that's pretty long video, and the Spiritual Warrior Support Group is about to start, so I don't want to be late for that. So I'm going to send everybody all of my love out there, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm sending you giant hugs, grounding hugs. Peace in.